Episode 2: 6 Ways to Make People Like You. Part 1 covers chapters 4, 6. Chapter 4: Become genuinely interested in other people. One of the most effective ways to be liked is also the simplest. Take genuine interest in others. You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. People care about their lives, their stories, passions, dreams. When you show sincere curiosity about their world, they feel seen, and that builds instant connection. But here's the key: it must be real. People can sense when you're faking interest just to manipulate. Train yourself to ask questions, observe details, and remember what people say. Don't just wait to talk. Be fully present. Dale Carnegie teaches us that interest is influence. When people feel seen, heard, and valued, they naturally feel connected to you. They open up, they trust you, they want to be around you. It's a human truth. Here's the key: you can't fake interest just to get something. People feel that. You have to care and show it. Let's begin with a simple question. Do you want people to like you? Trust you? Remember you? If the answer is yes, here's the secret. Stop trying to be interesting and start being interested. In today's world, most people are desperate to be seen, heard, and understood. But instead of giving that to others, many people compete for attention, dominate conversations, or focus on talking about themselves. Dale Carnegie flipped the script. He taught us that the key to influence is to be real, authentic influence, and starts not with what you say, but what you ask. You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get them interested in you. Why does this work? Because it taps into one of the most fundamental human needs: the need to feel important. They want you to listen. When someone is genuinely curious about you, asks you questions, listens to your stories, remembers the little things, you feel respected, you feel special, you feel seen. And what happens then? You like that person. You feel safe around them. You trust them, often without even realizing why. This is the emotional foundation of influence. People are drawn to those who make them feel good about themselves. What genuine interest really means: it means being fully present in the conversation, asking thoughtful, open-ended questions, remembering what people tell you and bringing it up later and listening and understand in what they say. It's about shifting the spotlight from you to them. And when you do that, something amazing happens. You become magnetic. You don't have to push to be liked. You naturally attract trust, admiration, and friendship without trying to sell yourself. Book example 1. The Dog Story. Carnegie says, people love dogs because dogs always show excitement and interest in you. Without judgment, without agenda, dogs don't try to impress. They just want to know you. People are the same. We want to feel valued. Book example 2. The Dinner Party. Carnegie spent an entire dinner asking one man about his work in botany. He barely spoke about himself, yet the man said, "You're the most interesting person I've met." That's the power of attention. People like you when they feel liked by you. In summary, everyone wants to feel interesting. Show sincere curiosity, and you'll build trust fast. Don't try to be impressive. Be interested. Ask yourself daily, what's something I can learn about this person? Chapter 5: Smile. A simple smile is one of the most powerful tools in human connection. The expression one wears on one's face is far more important than the clothes one wears on one's back. Yes, just smile. A real, honest smile is one of the most powerful tools you have. It can change someone's mood. It can open a heart. It can build a connection before you even say a word. A smile says, "I see you. I'm glad to be here. I like you." It breaks tension, builds trust, and makes you instantly more likable, without saying a word. Even when you don't feel happy, smiling can improve your own mood. and influence how others react to you. Smiling shows warmth, and warmth builds connection. Why? Because people decide how they feel about you in seconds, and one of the first things they notice is your face. When you smile, you're saying, "You're welcome here. I'm glad to see you. You matter." And the best part? A smile is free. It costs you nothing, but it can be worth everything. Now you might ask, but what if I don't feel like smiling? Great question. Carnegie believed that when we act a certain way, the feelings follow. Modern science backs it up too. When you smile, even just a little, your brain releases happy chemicals like dopamine and serotonin. That means you don't smile because you're happy. You become happy because you smile. So go ahead. Try it right now. Just a little smile. Feel your face soften. Feel your body relax. It works. But what if you're not in the mood to smile? Here's the twist. You don't wait to smile until you feel happy. Smiling helps you become happy. Carnegie suggests that actions can create emotions. Psychologists now back this up with what's called the facial feedback hypothesis. When you smile, your brain releases feel-good chemicals like dopamine and serotonin, even if the smile starts out mechanical. So, the next time you feel down, try this. Smile, even if just slightly. Think of someone you love or something you're grateful for. Breathe and watch how your mood begins to shift. Smiling isn't about faking, it's about choosing your energy and inviting connection. Book. Example 1. The store clerk. It's a long, stressful Monday. A young woman is standing behind a counter in a busy department store. She's been on her feet for hours. One customer was rude, another made her restart a return process twice. Her face is tense. She's in robot mode. Then, a man in a simple sweater steps forward. He isn't demanding. He doesn't jump into asking for help. He simply looks her in the eyes, smiles warmly, and says, "Good afternoon. You must be tired today. Thanks for being here." For a moment, the air shifts. Her shoulders drop. She lets out a small laugh, surprised. She smiled back, her attitude lifted, and she says, "You know what? Thanks for saying that. You're the first person today who has." That tiny gesture changed her whole energy. Why? Because he gave her kindness without expecting anything. This is the power of a smile paired with simple kindness. It didn't take effort, just awareness, and it made her day. Book example. 2. Salesman and Smiling John is a car salesman. Lately, he's been feeling pressure to hit targets. His conversations are efficient, serious, straight to the point. But customers seem closed off. One even walked away mid-negotiation. So John tries something different the next day. He begins his day by telling himself, "Today, I smile first. Not fake, just soft, warm, and human." A woman walks into the showroom. He walks up and instead of starting with numbers, he simply says, "Welcome in, I'm John. Beautiful weather, right?" He smiles. She smiles. The tension disappears. By the end of the conversation, she says, "I don't know why, but I feel like I can trust you." His product didn't change. His pitch didn't change. His smile did. That made all the difference. His sales improved. People lingered longer, all because he smiled genuinely and built instant rapport. Let's close this lesson with a truth that's been proven by psychology, spirituality, and human connection. A smile costs nothing, but it can change everything. Practice smiling before you speak in conversations, even on the phone. Smile at yourself in the mirror to remind yourself you're worthy of warmth too. You never know who needed that moment, and you never know what doors might open because of it. Smiling builds bridges instantly. It signals kindness, confidence, and openness. You don't need to feel perfect to smile. Smile, and your energy will follow. Try smiling at the next 5 people you meet, and watch how they respond. Chapter 6. Remember that a person's name is, to that person, the sweetest sound. Have you ever met someone who remembered your name instantly, even if they only heard it once? How did that make you feel? Seen, respected, and important. A person's name is more than a label. It's tied to their identity and self-worth. And Dale Carnegie understood this deeply. He wrote, "Remember that a person's name is, to that person, the sweetest and most important sound in any language. It doesn't matter if you're the CEO or the intern, a child or an elder. When someone remembers and uses your name, it hits emotionally. It tells your brain, you matter. You're valued. Someone noticed you." Using someone's name in conversation builds trust, warmth, and connection. It makes people feel like more than just a number. When you remember and use someone's name, it shows respect, presence, and care. You're not just talking to a face, you're speaking to a person. Don't underestimate this. When people hear their name, their brain becomes more alert. It triggers attention and emotional response. That's why it's a simple, yet powerful, habit to build. That's why people respond so well when you say, "Hi, Sarah. Nice to meet you. Thanks again, Mr. Nguyen. Great insight today. Emily, I really appreciate how you handled that." Names personalize the interaction. They take a generic thanks and make it a connection. Example 1. Jim Farley and the Power of Names. Carnegie tells the story of Jim Farley, a man who built his career and reputation by remembering thousands of names, even birthdays and personal details. At one point, he knew the names of 50,000 people. He believed that remembering names made people feel recognized, and that recognition led to trust, loyalty, and influence. That's how he went from a delivery boy to Postmaster General of the United States. Book example 2. Roosevelt and his staff. President Theodore Roosevelt made a habit of remembering the names of everyone in his staff, even the White House janitors and cooks. He didn't just say thanks, he said "Thank you, George," or "Great job today, Maria." That made people feel seen, no matter their position, and that's why they loved working for him. In summary, using someone's name builds trust and recognition. It shows you're paying attention. It's a sign of true respect, and people remember it. Tip: when you meet someone new, repeat their name out loud, write it down, or associate it with an image. It helps memory and connection. Chapter 7. Be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves. Let's start with a truth. Most people don't truly listen. They wait to speak. Dale Carnegie flips this mindset. He teaches us that one of the most powerful ways to become more likable is to simply listen. To be interesting, be interested. Dale Carnegie said, "If you want to be a good conversationalist, be a good listener. To be interesting, be interested." In a world where everyone is trying to be heard, the people who listen deeply stand out. Listening is one of the most powerful skills you can master, and it's completely free. But it's not passive. It's active. It takes energy, intention, and heart. Why does this work? Because people want to talk about themselves. Studies show that when people talk about themselves, their ideas, their dreams, their memories, it lights up the reward center of the brain, the same area activated by food or money. So when you let someone speak about themselves, you make them feel good. That's not manipulation. That's human nature. And by being a great listener, you become someone others feel safe with, heard by, and drawn to. In our fast-paced, distracted world, being a good listener is rare, and that's why it's powerful. When you genuinely listen to someone, not just with your ears, but with your eyes, your body language, your silence, they feel safe. They feel important. They feel respected. Listening is an act of generosity. You give someone space to express who they are without interruption or judgment. Carnegie emphasizes active listening. Ask follow-up questions. Nod. Make eye contact. Be fully present. This shows you value them, not just the content of the conversation. Listening isn't passive. It's active attention. And that's what builds deep connection. Book example. 1. The botanist at the dinner party. Carnegie once sat beside a botanist and asked about his field. He listened with sincere curiosity, barely saying a word. At the end of the night, the botanist said, "You're one of the most interesting conversationalists I've ever met." Why? Because people love to talk about themselves. And he let them. Book example 2. The sales strategy. A Carnegie student in sales learned to stop pitching and start listening. Instead of talking about his product, he let clients describe their problems in detail. This shift made prospects feel heard and more open to working with him. Sales increased. Trust followed. Book example 3. The woman at the party. One of Carnegie's students tried this at a party. He chose not to talk about himself. Instead, he asked others about their work, their passions, their stories. People loved talking to him. They said, "You're such a great person to be around." He didn't impress them with words. He impressed them with presence. In summary, most people listen just long enough to respond, not to understand. But if you want to win people over, build real relationships and become a person of influence. Stop trying to be interesting and start being interested. Ask questions like, "What was that like for you? How did you feel about that? What's your favorite part of what you do?" Then, listen. Really, listen. Look them in the eyes. Don't interrupt, don't try to fix. Just be there, because when people feel heard, they also feel valued. Listening isn't about being quiet, it's about being fully engaged. Chapter 8. Talk in terms of the other person's interests. This chapter builds on the last. If you want to be liked and trusted, don't focus on what you want, focus on what they care about. Talk in terms of the other person's interests. Think of it this way. Every person is the main character in their story. If you walk into that story and speak their language, their hobbies, dreams, values, they'll welcome you in. When was the last time someone spoke to you about something you love and your face just lit up? Whether it's your favorite sport, your pet, your children, your travels, or a hobby, when someone talks about what you care about, it feels good, doesn't it? That's exactly what this lesson is about. Talk in terms of the other person's interests. It sounds simple, but it's one of the most powerful ways to connect with someone fast. Carnegie teaches us that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, and the fastest way to show you care is to speak about what matters to them. By focusing on the other person's interests, you lower resistance and raise connection. And that's when real relationships begin. This creates emotional connection fast. Book example 1. The Boy and the Dog. Carnegie tells a story about a little boy trying to make friends with a shy girl. At first she ignores him, but then he notices she has a puppy. He crouches down and says, "That's a cute dog. What's his name?" Suddenly she opens up, smiling, chatting, excited. Why? Because he spoke about her world, not his. Book example 2. Sailing and the client. A Carnegie student learned a client loved sailing, so instead of pitching immediately, he started with, "How was your last trip out?" That one question built rapport and won the deal. Book example 3. Roosevelt's preparation. Before meeting anyone, Roosevelt researched their hobbies, books, horses, politics, so he could begin conversation in their world. This made even strangers feel understood. In summary, every person is walking around carrying their own favorite topics, passions, and stories. When you take a moment to learn what lights them up and then talk about those things, magic happens. You build trust faster. You become more likable without trying. You influence without effort because you're speaking their language. And here's the truth. You don't have to be interesting to be unforgettable. You just have to be interested in what they care about. Make the other person feel important, and do it sincerely. This is the final and most powerful principle in this section. Make the other person feel important, and do it sincerely. Every human being has a deep need. To feel significant. To feel that we matter. And when you make someone feel truly important, not as a tactic but with sincerity, you create trust, loyalty, and influence. Carnegie warns against flattery, empty praise. Instead, he promotes genuine recognition. To do this, notice small efforts. Acknowledge strengths. Compliment character, not just appearance, and mean it. If it's not sincere, don't say it. When people feel seen, they rise. They give more. They stay loyal. Carnegie reminds us, the sweetest words a person hears are, "You matter." Book Example 1. The Elevator. Operator Carnegie tells the story of a man who complimented an elevator operator on how smoothly he ran the controls. The operator lit up, saying no one had ever mentioned it before. That one comment made his day, maybe his week. All it took was noticing something specific and saying it sincerely. Book Example 2. The hotel clerk's letter. Carnegie once stayed at a hotel and wrote a thank you letter to the clerk who had helped him. The man was so touched, he carried the letter around and showed it to others. Why? Because someone took the time to say, "You made a difference, I see you." Book Example 3. Charles Schwab's praise. Schwab praised even the smallest improvements in workers. "I'm hearty in my approbation and lavish in my praise." His team gave more effort because they felt valued. Carnegie made a habit of noticing people's small wins and complimenting their character, not just their looks or clothes. He became liked and respected everywhere he went, not because of charm, but because he made others feel valuable. In summary, 2 mins. Everyone wants to feel important. Make people feel seen through real, thoughtful appreciation. Praise character, not just results. People don't just remember what you did, they remember how you made them feel. And if you want to leave a lasting impression, make others feel important sincerely, not because you want something, not because you're trying to flatter, but because you see them, you notice them, you care. Say things like, "I admire the way you handle that." You always make people feel comfortable. You're really great at solving problems calmly. It doesn't take long, but the impact is long-lasting. Sincerity is your superpower. Use it generously. That's the end of Episode 2 in our series on how to win friends and influence people. Which one will you practice this week? Comment below, hit like, and don't forget to subscribe for Part 4, where we begin learning how to win people to your way of thinking without conflict.